Yeah, let's jump it off.
Get started.
Yeah. I'm down.
Oh man, so much pressure starting off the intro, man.
Here, I got you.
No pressure, man.
Yeah, I got it. What up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Hops and Stocks podcast. This is our maiden voyage. I'm William Diggs, as you see on the screen. It's probably the first and last time you'll hear that name. Everybody calls me Blast. So I'm going to pass it off to one of my partners and let everybody introduce themselves.
I'm Eric. Everybody calls me E.
Billy. Everybody call me B-Dub.
You can read, man. It says Doug Toller. People call me Doug.
What you got in the cup, Doug, today?
Oh, man, I have a Untitled Art. It's a peaches sour Alamo.
Okay.
I think three of you all have had this. It's kind of a thick pour.
What do you think of it?
But it's delicious, man. I mean, you have some of the notes. You have obviously the peach, apricot, a little cinnamon.
Yeah, I had that joint. It was just okay to me, man. I didn't catch.
I think you're not getting the cinnamon note. I get the cinnamon note, and I get that peach note.
I might have to try it again, man. Just off the that first taste, it didn't really catch me. With the peach like I wanted it to. I guess I was thinking sweet, and I didn't get quite enough sweet on it.
Right. Well, I think sometimes with UA, man, you think you're getting one thing as far as the sweetness, and you're not going to get it. I mean, hell, it's called peaches sour.
Yeah, it's not
that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Does it have a cobbler taste to it?
No.
It's actually
I don't
bland,
know.
Man.
I mean, I haven't had too much peach cobbler, man. I'm not a cobbler guy.
Oh man, you're missing out on delicious desserts, man.
You talking about peach pie?
Peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler, man.
Never really had peach. I mean, I like peaches. I think when you go into one of these beers, man, whatever the title is, if you like that fruit, like I've never had. I don't know if y'all have had the. We've had the blood orange.
Oh, that's
I guess
fine.
we can talk about that later.
Yeah,
I haven't had that one yet.
Billy, you didn't have blood orange?
What I got? What is that? Is that the seltzer?
Nah. That blood orange, blood orange sweet and sour one.
What's the full name of it?
Man, I had to go pull it out the cabinet.
I sitting in one of the threads. It's almost like grapefruit, man. I mean, I was in a grocery store.
Yeah, it's an IPA.
I was in the grocery store and saw the fruit.
Okay, I think I have had that one. It
just came out like within the last 2 weeks.
I got the sherbet. I got the what's the stout?
The Black Forest.
Black Forest. And then it was the one. It's like LIC or HIC. What is that? The you gonna make me go get it real fast?
Man, in the last haul that I sent y'all, that blood orange was in there.
Yeah,
individual stacks.
That's far. I think I sent a shot in the group text saying, "Hey, yo, this is one of those ones."
Is it IPA?
That's why I got it. That's why I got it. You said it was good.
IPA, okay.
Yeah, if you like the grapefruit and even that
right,
the one we went crazy for, the pineapple.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Yeah. It's all in that same vein. Like it's up there.
Okay.
Hey, I'll pass it off. Who's next? Go ahead, E. What you sipping on?
Right now, I'm sipping on this peanut butter s'mores by Decadent Ales. Man, it's a weird one, man, because it's an IPA, and so usually peanut butter is typically used in your stouts and stuff like that. But this is an IPA, 8.6%. They out of New York and whatnot. But on the description, it's a double IPA with peanut butter, cinnamon, vanilla, and chocolate. On that first sip, you kind of like, you get a whole lot of peanut butter, but it's weird because you don't expect to get peanut butter on IPAs. Peanut butter is typically reserved for stouts, and IPAs typically have that citrus, that grapefruit and things like that. So to have a peanut butter IPA, I'm kind of indifferent. I like it, but I feel like it's a bipolar brew. Like, it's like, man, I don't know if I'm if I'm getting what I want out of an IPA, or would it be better served in the s'mores? I'm probably going to lab it a little bit longer. Right now, man, if we was doing it on a rating scale, it's probably a 2 out of 4. I would say try it because it's something different, but I don't think I'll buy it again.
You
What's the name
prefer
of the brewery again?
stout?
You said, do I prefer who?
You prefer it in a stout, the peanut butter?
Yeah, when you peanut butter flavors, because like those thicker type prominent flavors, you prefer, to me, I prefer those in stouts.
Damn smoothie, man.
Yeah, this is when you get an IPA or an ale, you're just thinking light, kind of crisp, refreshing, and this hits you with that peanut butter, and it's a heavy peanut butter taste. So peanut butter with fruit, it necessarily ain't my jam.
Hey E, I know you're kind of like the front runner on how we got into like these craft beers, man. You know, how'd you get into
them? Weird thing is, my very first quote unquote craft beer was Sierra Nevada Indian Pale Ale. Man, the first time I cracked that thing, I tasted it. I was like, man, this is gross. Like this might have been the worst taste that I ever had. But that was coming from a background of drinking just a lot of domestic brews. You know what I'm saying? Budweiser, Bud Light, just a lot of lagers. So I really wasn't into it. I was like, man, but I drank it, but I didn't particularly care for it. I started really, really diving into craft beer when I got out to Wichita, Kansas, because they had a lot of, you know what I'm saying, homegrown breweries. Whereas when I was back in Ohio, we didn't really have that. And I started getting off into sours and fruit beers and stouts.
They call it dessert beers too, right? Because it seems like every time I go someplace, they're like, "Oh, that's a dessert beer."
Yeah, and then once again, it's almost like with anything. As you start developing your palate, you start to like certain things. Once again, I never wanted to try another IPA after I had that Sierra Nevada. I was just like, but now as I've developed my palate, I can go back and drink Sierra Nevada. Like it's good to me now. But at first, it was just so brand new, and I was like, man, I don't expect this out of a beer. Like it was a shock to the system. But now it's excuse me, very rare to see that I'm drinking something basic. Like everything has to be something different, something exotic. And there's so many beers in the world, it's kind of hard to even go back to something twice. Because it's like, man, I wanna try this other one. And you can drink probably a different beer every day for the rest of your life and not have every single one that's out there.
Right. I think that works well for a lot of people, but some people just like to have a go-to beer, man. And mine is Coors Light.
Man, we got a homeboy, man.
You know what I mean? Hey, Coors Light is not pouring like this, man.
We got a homeboy that will not go to a sports bar if they don't have Budweiser. Like he's just not gonna go. Like walk in the door. Do y'all got Budweiser? Yeah, I'm out. I'm like, bro, like there's so many different beers.
I mean,
I just want to say go ahead, B-Dub.
He requests cold Budweiser. You like cold Budweiser? Cold Budweiser?
Hey, man,
he ain't coming in.
To Doug's point, man, I just want to say that Hops and Stock supports all beers, and Basic or whatever. We love you all. If you want to advertise, thumbs up to you, man.
Right, Hops and Stocks.
Coors Light, get at us.
Yeah.
And man, Coors Light does numbers. Coors Light does numbers, man.
We are about those numbers.
I laugh because, you know what I'm saying, I do consider myself to be a beer douche. But Coors Light, a really, really frosty one on a summer day, like, yeah, it's all right.
Hey, man, I'm about to go golf in about 2 hours, man. And you best believe I have a Coors Light waiting. Like, I'm not going to golf. I'm not going to golf with this, you know, even though UA does a great job, man. You know what I'm saying? Big ups to UA, because I think UA is the one that kind of got me started down the road of a different type of taste and creating that palate. I think you made a good point. You know, just creating that palate is important because, I mean, a year ago, I'll taste this like, man, that's trash, man. That's trash. I mean, it's not trash, but it's like, but you know what got me is when you talk about the alcohol content. So you put us onto those peanut butters. I don't know how over that period when those peanut butters. I don't know what the the alcohol volume was,
Like
but we were
12.
getting,
I think they were 12 percenters.
man, we were getting smacked off of those, man. It just took one. It just took one.
Yeah, that's what I was amazed about. I'm like, man, a beer is like 12, because we like the most we ever had was like some Steel Reserve, and it was like a high content that'll get you smacked. But you can't be reserving these days. But these stouts and these IPAs is like, I mean, the minimum was like a 7.
Yeah.
And that's one
you
thing.
were feeling it.
That's one thing too, is a lot of cats is the pricing. So a lot of cats, when you go in the store, you look at these 4-packs and they be like $17. But I'm like, if you look at the ABV, it's like you getting a 12-pack. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, break that down for us. Break down APV.
ABV.
Podcasts may not know what that is.
Alcohol by volume. So it's basically the percent of alcohol in the beer.
Because sometimes it says ALC.
That's alcohol, short for alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol volume. Okay.
Yeah. So if like on this one right here, it says ALC 8.6% by VOL, which is a lot of cans just put ABV. So that's what that's short for. But when you look
that's
at
what
it,
you drinking, bro.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sipping on another. This is a Untitled Art collabo. I guess it ain't showing up too good, but it's Untitled Art with Humble Forager, and it's the oat cream IPA.
If you had that fancy background, we could see it, man.
Hey man, I'm trying to keep y'all from looking at my tan colored walls, man.
All good.
You gotta
What's it called again, Blast?
beer studio. You gotta get you a beer studio.
What's it called again? What's it called again?
Oat cream IPA.
Oh, okay.
7% alcohol, and the notes they trying to hit are citric, mosaic, some shit called Sabro, and Wakatu, if you know what that is.
Never heard of that shit.
For us regular laymen's, man, you know, it's kind of a smooth IPA. It's not overly hoppy, and it just goes down real nice, man. This has been one of my favorite offerings from Untitled Art, man. I think we've all had it, so you know, y'all can chime in on what you think.
I like it. Ironically, we was able to catch it on a really, really good sale a few weeks ago, and I got a box full of it, courtesy of my man Blast here down there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, the Honey Hole. Hey, there's a spot that we just go to get the finest brews.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Honey Hole, man. Shout out to all the honey holes around the country.
Oh yeah.
If y'all can find yourself a honey hole, man, that just has. I know Jungle Gems. Jungle Gems was my first honey hole because Jungle Gems has like international beer. It was, but you know what? Before we started, you know, going into this, I would go into Jungle Gems and I would see all those beers, man, and I was like, man, where's the Coors Light? You know what I mean? But now I go in and I'm looking at all the different, you know what I'm saying, beers, and so you know it's changed a little bit since we've kind of like opened up or expanded our horizon. Well, myself personally, that oat, man, I really didn't care for that, man. It had a I'm just gonna be real layman. If it's oatmeal, I don't mess with oatmeal, and it had a flavor that I just didn't really catch on to. You know what I mean? It wasn't nasty. It's just I'm not going back to it. I think you go back to that pretty often.
Yeah,
it had a Steel Reserve type of taste, man. I just couldn't do it no more, man. Like it had
for somebody that likes IPAs such as myself, I think sometimes IPAs it's almost like a dish detergent taste, and I think that's off-putting to a lot of people. It's like, man,
they're so strong.
Yeah, a lot of people say that about IPAs. It's like, man, I don't like that hoppy.
Yeah, it's the real hoppy that really stings you right off the bat on the.
It's the hoppy for me, dog.
And this one, I like. I don't know what oat in a beer tastes like, but to me, they nailed it with the cream part of it. Like there's an element of smooth that they put on it.
Yeah, you always say that was smooth.
Yeah,
it's a part 2 of that oat, ain't it? Are they the same?
Yeah, I had part 2 a couple weeks ago. I forget the exact name of it, but in my opinion, it's not as good as the first one. It's a little more hoppy.
We've had the IPA. You did IPA-E. Yours is IPA Blast?
Yeah, mine was an IPA too.
What's this? What's this peach sour? Is this, what is this?
It's a sour.
It's a sour. Yeah.
Oh, it's a sour. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm like I said, I'm still learning. So you got sours, you got IPAs. Stouts.
Porters. It's actually an infinite amount of styles. And a lot of people like that are really into beer, like they're, with anything, there's purists who, say, hey, a certain style of beer shouldn't have this, or it shouldn't have that, or it has to be this. But I think that's one thing about craft brews is you can basically do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have an idea like, hey, I want to make a Fruity Pebbles sour. You can go do that. You know what I'm saying? And it may turn out great, it may turn out gross, but that's the thing about craft brewers is it's expanded so far and it's become, more mainstream. Whereas back in the day, like cats really wasn't messing with it. I know B-Dub specifically, man. When I would try to get him on new stuff, he was like, man, this shit's gross. Like, I'm not drinking that. I don't know how you do this. But I think I've moved him a little bit further, a little bit closer to enjoying craft brew.
I remember a particular time I came. This is when you was living in, might have been like Westchester or somewhere, and I came down. I lost a bet because of the Michigan Ohio State game, so we ended up going to a liquor store because you wanted to collect right then and there, right then and there.
I know exactly what it was.
And you bought a 4-pack of that Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you want to buy a 4-pack? It's like $20.
You know what? I think that's my first introduction to like a real strong beer, that Kentucky bourbon.
Bourbon ale.
Yeah, that's double digits.
I was
Did you like it?
I was like, let me taste it. I was like, man, this is gross, man. Terrible.
I think the first time I had bourbon ale, to me it tasted like someone made a beer and then just poured a shot on top of it.
Right.
Put that shit up and sold it.
Bottled it up.
Man, yeah.
I was always a fan of Kentucky bourbon. We would go over to that one spot, Blast Bargo's. I think I think that's the one I would get.
Yeah, shout out to Bargo's, man.
Shout out to Bargo's.
They always got a nice craft beer selection.
Yeah, man.
You remember that time we went in there and they gave me that Ryan Geist, that knowledge, and they served me that shit in like a Hennessy glass.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I ordered a beer. She was like, oh yeah, it's so strong we can only give you this much of it. I was like, all right.
Same thing with the Kentucky bourbon, man. They're not serving you in a regular glass, man. It's like a little fancy,
That's one thing that you will notice when you go to a lot of breweries is if it's a high ABV, you're not getting a pint. Like you're gonna get 10 ounces, and you're like, that shocked me, man. The very first time when I went and ordered a beer, and they served it to me something that looked like a wine glass. I'm like, man, where's this at?
Yeah, where's the rest of
my beer?
Yeah.
And I think your glass over there, man.
Oh yeah, what you sipping?
What you got in your glass over
sipping
there?
On B-Dub?
Actually, this is Stella, but what I'm going to review is something that's not Stella.
That Stella probably tastes like trash because it's in that Michigan mug.
Actually, we won.
Probably tastes like pee. Tastes like pee beer.
Hey man, we will not be discussing.
That's why Eric didn't review that Buckeye Stout that he got.
I don't got a Buckeye Stout.
I got the Buckeye Stout.
I'm dating out.
You got the Buckeye Stout from UA?
Yeah. No, the Buckeye Stout is Sonder.
Sonder? Man, somebody grab me some of that.
This is what I'm reviewing.
I'll see what I can do.
Berry Crumble by by Sonder.
That's that shit.
Hey, before you even get started, tell us why you're not going to crack that on screen and drink it with us.
Because I don't believe that they make this anymore. So I have to preserve it. And I only have 2 left and I can't waste it on the 10 o'clock sippage.
I feel you.
Hey, for anybody that's watching this, it's actually is 10 p.m. and not 10 a.m. We are not drinking before we've eaten breakfast. I lie.
Yeah, I'm like whatever. Home.
This is my breakfast, man. Look at that, man.
Man, I mean,
it dirties the waters, man.
Hey, I'm enjoying an oat beer, man. I mean, that's breakfast. That's oatmeal.
Yeah, this berry crumble it's more like a dessert IPA. It's let me see. I think it's 7.2 ABV.
Yeah,
It's out of a brewing company out of Mason, so that's closer to Cincinnati.
Local.
So it's you ever heard of a New England IPA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what they call that one, a New England one?
Yeah, this is a New
Wow.
England because it's 6.3, but between 6.3 and 7.5%. So on the pour is red. You can see what's in my glass is not red, so it's a reddish pour. Not overly sweet. Medium body. It's a dessert. It's a dessert IPA. So that's why I like it. I like a lot of candy, so this is right up my alley. So out of 5, I'll probably get this like 4.5.
4.5. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I had that berry crumble too, man. You don't really get no complaints out of me on that one. Shout out to Sonder, man.
Yeah, shout out to Sonder, man, because everything from Sonder I've had has been delicious.
Yeah.
Is their focus like dessert and fruit beers and things like that?
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's just, a small wing of what they do.
Okay. Have you tried any of their other offerings like outside of the fruits?
I think I've had an IPA or two. I'd have to, really go back and review.
Hey, B-Dub, what's the notes? What did you see? Did you say what was in there?
Raspberries, blueberries, and then it has the berry crumble in it.
Yeah, you taste all those notes, man. You get the raspberry sour at the beginning, and then that blueberry comes in. I mean, that was a delicious dessert beer right there, man.
I mean, the color is beautiful on that, man. You pour it, and it's like a deep dark red.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, when you crack in an IPA, you don't expect to see that. I'm like, you start pouring it out, like, oh, okay, it's something different.
They was right on point with this one because it's not too sweet. A lot of UAs, the title gets you intrigued to drink it, but then when you drink it, it's either one or the other. It's never really right in the middle. It's either not sweet enough or it's too sweet. This was right on point.
Yeah.
This is a good
offer. Yeah, there's nothing like when somebody nails the flavor profile, man. That's like the best feeling, man.
See, I think Sonder has really kind of like, changed the game. Because I thought UA was the only one that were doing that, man. But Sonder is really, there's an apple Streusel.
Streusel,
yeah, it's good.
You had the other one though. You had, what was yours was apple strudel. They got
strudel.
A strudel.
Yeah. Strudel, man. That's now if we can get our hands on that strudel.
I thought about reviewing the streusel today. I still got 2 of those or a few of those in the fridge. I'm gonna have to hop here and review that.
Was that a Christmas brew?
The streusel was Christmas brew.
Yeah. So it was seasonal.
Yeah, I might have to stop by your guy Marty's and see if
shout out to Marty. I think it's called Marty's Hops. What's it called?
Hops and Vines.
Yeah.
Marty's
Shout out to him, man. We could hopefully get him on, or maybe we can go live from his location because he's really put me on. Actually, you know what? When I was doing that beer taste, everyone was doing wine taste. I was like, man, I do not want to do a wine taste. So dude hooked me up with just a little personal beer taste, and he put me on to what did he put me on to? It was
he had that peanut butter too. He had
the peanut butter.
Had a UA peanut butter around here.
He had a strawberry. I can't really think of the name of it. I'll have it for next time. But he said that was so exclusive they stopped making it. But that was really, because remember I sent you all that picture, and from there, man, I know I was sold on the craft beer. Besides that one time with E when we was at the pool drinking those peanut butters. I think we drank all your peanut butters at that pool.
Yeah, y'all killed my peanut butter.
Yeah, we had to go restocking.
Hold on,
man. Shout out to Tailgate Brewery down here in Nashville, man.
Hold on, peanut butter UA?
Nah, this was when they came down. They was drinking Tailgate Brewery.
Oh, okay.
This is a local spot down here.
Yeah, I think this was before UA dropped the.
Yeah, but just to piggyback on what Doug was saying about the flights, that's a really good way to get exposed to a lot of different beers without a huge investment. And that's one thing that I started doing is when I go to a brewery or even a lot of your restaurants like BJ's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You go in there, you can get a flight and you can say, hey, I want to sample, you know what I'm saying, 5 or 6 or 8 different beers. And it's usually between a 3 ounce to a 5 ounce pour.
Man.
And you're not making a huge investment in, 16 ounces of something you don't like.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to, bring to the audience is, we're trying to review some beers that you know what I'm saying, if you like that taste, you can go ahead and get it. If that's in your lane, good. If not, you know what I mean, you don't have to waste. We're kind of doing the test for you, so you don't have to waste your money. The hard lanes, the stimulus. Now you got that stimulus money, you might as well go ahead and spend if you got that stimulus.
I think a lot of these fruit beers from UA and Sonder, I think females will be inclined.
Oh yeah. Every time I get one, man, I pass it on to wifey and I let her do a little taste test. Beat up. That's why I knew that that Graders.
Yeah,
she likes that Graders, and I've been trying to get you onto that Graders.
Man.
We'll preview that next time.
So that's
the Graders, man. Graders has a stout. I think it's a chocolate chip stout.
Chocolate raspberry chip.
Yeah.
So that's one tip that I want to give to our viewers is, fellas, if you have a girl, do not let her taste your fruit beers. She'll love them, and life gets a lot more expensive when your girl starts drinking craft beer.
You gonna get yourself in trouble, Lee.
Nah, I will. And but here, you know what? Let me reverse track, because
it's too late now, brother.
No. Because real talk, my girl actually buys craft beer and will bring me craft beer. So I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like she brings craft beer, so she holds her own when it comes to the craft beer. I think her and B-Dub compete in some of the same locations.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, for who can clear the shelf first.
Let me tell you this mission they had me on, man. So Eric was putting me on to UA, so he was telling me where to go. So he was like, he even told me what shelf the beer was on.
Damn.
I went all the way to Centerville. Mind you, I don't stay nowhere close to Centerville. So I'll go out there and they don't have any. So I go all the way out there by Tug's crib to another location. They don't have any. Finds out his girl, I think she told you, she was like, yeah, I guess I should have told B-Dub that I had already cleared the shelves before he got.
Yeah, you had to go to her to get them.
Nah, I just couldn't get them. I had to get
them. Nah, she becomes the supplier after that.
Yeah. So I had to find my own little honey hole that she doesn't know nothing about.
Hey, B-Dub, what city you in, man? Let the viewers know. I don't think you stated where you live at, man.
Oh, it's in Dayton, right on the border of Huber Heights.
Gotcha. Everybody out there, me and Doug are in Cincinnati, Ohio. And like E already said, he's in Nashville.
Yeah. So that's one thing that makes us makes this kind of unique. And what we wanted to honestly allow our viewers to do is have a peek inside of our group chats. We literally talk hops and stocks every single day of the week in our group chats. And so we wanted to let people into, you know what I'm saying, we talk about different beers every single day. And with us all being in different parts of the country, well, three of us are in Ohio, we can all still provide something, because, you know, Dayton has a craft brew scene, Cincinnati has a craft brew scene, and Nashville has a craft brewery scene. And the thing is, you know, when my guys are reviewing stuff, it's like, damn, I need to get that. I want to try that. And I'll have them grab me stuff, and I'll grab stuff for them down here in Nashville. So you get to try a bunch of different stuff. And I've hit the honey hole up in Cincinnati on my way back home. And I'll bring, you know what I'm saying, things from Nashville to them. But that's one thing about this community is it's a tight-knit community, and it brings people together. I've noticed that if I go to a brewery, you know, politics don't come into play, race doesn't come into play. Like, people are just there to enjoy, you know what I'm saying, good beer.
Yeah.
I think we should define honey hole. I don't know.
And shout out to what's that called, Blast? It's not IGA, is it?
I'm just gonna say this, man. Before we say the name, man, you know, that's free advertising, man. So I think we should just call it Honey Hole until we sit down with them and they, you know, break bread with us.
I agree.
I know me personally, man. I didn't
the capitalist. Hey, Blast is the capitalist in the group, man. He's the capitalist.
Hey, man, it's all love, man. But you know, we need our fundage too, man. We can't.
You gotta pay for placement, man.
Yeah, man.
I wasn't talking about like saying what the honey hole was. I'm talking about like as far as like in general.
Oh yeah, I got you. I'm just like, man, I don't know if I want to name drop the honey hole, because you know we done already sent a lot of business their way, and you know we ain't getting no discounts or nothing, man.
Hey, I drove an hour to that honey hole
I love the honey hole, man, but you know they gotta love us back too.
Yeah.
Nah, I dig it. Hey, one thing I do want to revisit is, so this right here, generally when I drink stout beers, I drink them at room temperature. Like that first crack out of the refrigerator when you're drinking the stout, it doesn't necessarily do it justice. I like to drink my stouts at closer to room temperature because, in my opinion, the flavors get a chance to marry and they kind of mellow out. So as I've been sipping this, you know, through the duration of this podcast, like this has gotten a lot better. Like it's drinking more like a stout versus an IPA that somebody dumped peanut butter in. So now the peanut butter taste is it's mellowed out and it's married with that cinnamon and vanilla and chocolate. And I like it a lot better at room temperature versus when I first took it out the refrigerator and started drinking it when it was really cold. So that's one of the fun things about drinking craft beer is you get a bunch of different flavors as it comes up to temp. Some people might not like those flavors, so they want to drink it, you know what I'm saying, fairly quickly while it's still cold. Some people like to let their beers come up to room temperature, let those flavors develop. But yeah, this is a heck of a lot better as it's come up to room temperature.
You put me on to that, E, about room temp, man, because I'm all about the ice cold, and a lot of times stouts, man, it it's just coming out the fridge, but as time goes by, it gets a lot better on the taste.
Man, so another first for me, and not being used to craft beer, is when I first went out to Wichita, I went to a place called Twin Peaks. And I'll let you Google Twin Peaks. I won't elaborate on Twin Peaks, but it's a very nice sports bar. And so Twin Peaks, they serve their beers in like the frosty of the frostiest glasses. Like their beers come out of the keg at like 29 degrees or something like that. I mean, it
sounds like Coors Light to me.
It's iced over. It's iced over, and I'm like, damn, this is the greatest beer ever. Well, that's what I was used to is, you know what I'm saying, mugs that come out of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of bars that you go to, mugs come out of their freezer and things like that, and they're serving everything cold. The first time I went to a brewery and they gave me a glass like this, I'm like, hey, yo, I need a frosty mug. And he was like, nah, you don't. You know, it's me trying to school the professor. The professor's like, nah, you don't enjoy this like this. And so that's one thing that I had to get used to as I got deeper into craft beer, is everything's not meant to be frosty and ice cold. I mean, lagers are good, frosty and ice cold, but a frosty and ice cold stout, it's not the same. Like you don't get the same flavor development as if you let it come up to temp.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I'm not a big stout person because I don't know if the lactose gets me. Is it the stout, the milk stout, that chocolate shit?
Yeah,
milk lactose.
Anyway, when the temperature comes down, and you know what? Another thing I wanted to add, even with Billy, the one that you previewed, the Sonder, the notes, you can smell the notes off of that too, man. Did you notice that?
You crack it, you can smell that.
Oh man, I sit that glass down, and it's almost like you can smell the notes coming off, and it makes you want to grab again and grab again. I'm telling you, that Sonder goes quick. So sometimes when we crack a beer, man, it may not take us a long time. It may take us a long time to drink it, but that Sonder
around for a while.
That Sonder goes quick because you can smell the notes coming off of it. But I concur with the whole idea of letting the temperature come down to room temperature. You really do get a different taste. And I was anti that, man, because my Coors Light, if I let my Coors Light get down to room temperature, I'm pouring it out. You know what I mean?
Hey man, Coors.
I take that back. I still drink it because I don't pour nothing out.
Yeah, you don't pour nothing. I don't pour nothing out either, man.
I still drink it.
Doug refreeze it.
Hey, I'll put the top back on and put it back in the refrigerator.
Hey man, hey Coors Light, please get at us because Doug is gonna drop y'all's name every damn episode, man. So it's only we go on and create this union, man.
And because I think they do better numbers than UA.
What I'm saying is, man,
Coors Light is big time, man.
Here's the thing though, man. Like I don't even want Coors Light to sponsor us. What I want them to do is since we are hops and stocks, man, shoot us some stock options. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't need any money placements. You know what I'm saying? Give us a couple shares. We'll take a couple shares.
That'd be love.
Yeah, man, the silver bullet.
I think that's a good spot to transition into a little stock discussion, man. We are hops and stocks, so if y'all want to dive into maybe what you've been looking at this past week or what you're looking at for the week coming up.
Yeah.
Well, since everything is opening up, man, as far as the pandemic and people are getting their shots, as everybody that's listening knows that we've been on, kind of a lockdown as far as being able to travel. So I've looked into like resorts and hotels and certain hospitality type stocks that I think may be doing that may be ticking upward these next couple of months as more people, because when it comes to travel, man, old people, and not to be rude or crude on saying that, but older people do the traveling because they don't work, so they're the ones that are spending this money in hotels and things like that. And as they get their shots, they're going to start in my opinion, they're going to start traveling, man, because that's what they've missed most. They've missed being able to shoot down to resorts in Florida or in the Caribbean. They've missed that. So I think I've really kind of honed in on those stocks.
I mean, to your point, I think me and E made a little bit of money this past week on American Airlines. I've been watching the airline stocks because, like you said, people are going to be wanting to travel, and you got to get there. And, people are, once you get your shots and stuff, you're more apt to be flying. So a lot of the airline stocks, I know, kind of picking up or whatever.
That's exactly
Delta went up, Disney went up.
That's my last stock that I bought was American Airlines, and then
American Airlines,
I bought into Royal Caribbean just because I use Royal Caribbean, but Eric was telling me about to look into a Carnival. I see that they're on the uptick, and also purchased into General Motors with the electric car thing. Yeah,
they're going heavy into the electric vehicle market. I mean, everybody is, man. I saw Volkswagen is really diving into it. Yeah. I think we all probably got a little Tesla. So
I think the politics moves the economy because, since we're dealing with, the new Green Deal and all those things that Trump kind of like wasn't on, I think Biden, his administration is really pushing for a different type of energy, and that electric power is something that I think a lot of companies, they've been going to it for years, but I think there's really going to be an incentive with this administration to try to go more green. So I think Billy, you were looking into maybe GM, and you was going to give us some hints about some batteries or whatever. You never got back to us. So you must be hoarding your information.
It was a Sunday and everybody was off. The only thing I found out was the thing about GM is they're trying to cut the weight of the battery, which is going to make the car a lot lighter.
Right.
I don't know if that gives them a huge edge in that market, but it is an edge, making the car a little bit lighter.
It does. It has to be lighter. It has to be light.
They're going to make the car lighter, and the battery's going to last longer. I was trying to figure out who's going to make the battery, but I was unsuccessful trying to find out.
If you have less weight, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but if you have less weight in the vehicle, then you have less. You're using less power to move
less energy to move the vehicle.
Less energy to move it down the road.
And ever since I bought GM, it's been making steady gains every single day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm up currently on GM 11.5%. I bought I want to say about a month or maybe about 6 weeks ago when I was reading. And before we go any deeper into this, we are not financial advisors. We are.
This ain't financial advice, man. This is our own personal experience.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence.
Yeah, our goal with this podcast.
Hey, if you listen to me, you a fool. I mean, if you really listen to me, you're an idiot.
Our goal with this podcast, and with this being our first one, we would just want to try some things and do some tests. But our goal is to, weekly bring in financial experts and financial, professionals and things like that can give you advice. We are not those people. We are just some retail investors who, during the pandemic, start fooling. Well, some of us pre-pandemic start fooling around with stocks. So some of the things that I've purchased, since the pandemic has been GM, the airlines. So on American, I'm up 65%. Delta, I'm up 75%. You got to think, we're going to start flying again. People are going to start traveling. That's all that they were talking about last week on Squawk Boxes, the number of people that were flying. I think it was upwards of like 1 million per day. So your stocks that were down, those things are going to start coming up. Everything that was down. So hotels, like Doug mentioned earlier, resorts, casinos, those are things that you would have to do your due diligence before buying, but those are things that you may want to focus on. Is everything that quote unquote crashed during the pandemic. As more and more people get vaccinated, the businesses that were strong businesses before the pandemic are more than likely going to continue to be strong businesses down the line. Yeah. Another stock that I've really been following is Lucid, which is under Churchill. The stock ticker is CCIV. They had a bad couple of weeks. They shot up to like $64, $65, and then they kind of tanked. But everything that I've read is that it's a solid company. It's a solid investment. Like they have the capital, they have, the car. People are in love with the car. They have a lot of pre-orders. So it's just something that I've been following, and I actually bought into it because I believe that it's something that, may take off in the long run. When you think about Tesla, for so long, Tesla has been, the only dog in the game, the only dog in the fight, rather. Other companies are going to develop technology, and other companies are going to get into, that same arena and challenge Tesla for, who's going to be the EV go-to. I mean, you got to think, what was it? Ford, the Model T was the very first car, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you got that right.
Yeah, look how many car manufacturers we have now. So Tesla's not going to be the only EV manufacturer out there. It's just, who do you believe in? What does the research lead you to believe? And what do the numbers look like? Once again, do your due diligence. Me personally, I'm a gambler. Like, I'll throw some money at something. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then there's other times where I do my research. When I'm looking at long-term investments, I do my research. When I might be trying to make a quick buck, I'll throw some money at something, but I never invest more than what I can afford to lose.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on your point about, businesses that were strong pre-pandemic. I think Doug hit it earlier that, a lot of people out here are experiencing an influx in cash with the 3 different stimulus payments. So, I mean, people are looking to spend, man, looking to, get out of town, or looking to get some, new clothes, new whatever, man. So it's a lot of money being thrown back into the economy too. So business is definitely going to be on the uptick.
Yep.
Well, I didn't make her, but my daughter opened up an individual brokerage account maybe like a month and a half ago, and she just bought her first stock Thursday. So I'm really excited about that. Her first stock was an airline.
Okay.
It's Delta. So
I had my son recently invest part of his tax return. My son's 23. And that's one thing that we talk about amongst ourselves in our group chat, is that we're trying to educate our kids at an earlier age, so that when they're 44, 45, they're not just getting started like a lot of us was. We, growing up, we didn't have people who were focused on, financial literacy and things like that. Well, as I gain knowledge and as I, start to invest, I feel like I'll be doing my kids a disservice not to get them a 20-year head start.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's, I look at it as, if I can get my son into, investing a couple $100 a month, and, whether it's an IRA or stocks and stuff like that, he's going to be in a lot better position at my age than what I was. So I think that's one thing that we have to focus on as far as a community, is educating our community. And that's kind of what spurred this whole podcast is, we want to educate people, and, we're not the leaders of the education. We're not the professionals, but we do have, connections with people who are experts. And that's what we hope to bring to anyone that tunes in is, bring you an expert that can expose you to new things and things that you may have not been aware of, or then a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know it, you can't question it. So, hopefully we're able to provide, a lot of knowledge and a lot of access to resources that, common folk may not necessarily have access to.
Hey, shout out to Eric's Credit Solutions. Shout out to Eric's Credit Solutions.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Congrats on the business.
Appreciate it.
Speaking of credit though, one of the things that I picked up that I didn't know, and I thought I knew a lot about credit, having a decent score, but there's always things you can learn. I didn't know that putting people onto your credit accounts, like for example, I have a credit card that I learned if I put my daughter onto that credit card as a authorized user,
credit,
she can't use it obviously because I'm not gonna let her, but it boosts her credit, and I didn't know that.
Wow.
So that's a little credit tip for the day, sponsored by Eric's Credit Solutions, about helping, and because you mentioned helping your sons and daughters out. Well, that's one thing that you can do immediately, as long as you have good credit. Now, you don't want to put them on your credit and your shit's trash.
Yeah,
but
they're going to assume your credit history. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But make sure, and you putting them on, make sure you're not messing yourself up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
one thing that my dad taught me,
too.
one thing that my dad taught me and my mom taught me, they may not have given me all the little craters of knowledge that I have to give to my daughter, but they had enough to give me two things. Well, yeah, two things. My mom always said, pay your bills.
Pay them bills, yeah.
Pay the bills. If you can only pay the minimum, but pay your bills, because she knew that affects your credit. You know what I mean? Now, she probably should have told me, don't pay the minimum, pay more. But if that's all you have is the minimum, make sure you pay on time, because those late payments affect your credit. Secondly, my dad taught me, don't co-sign for nobody. You know what I mean? Do not co-sign for anyone, because that will jack up your credit in a horrible way. He had a bad experience where he co-signed for, his stepson, stepdaughter, totally jacked up his credit. You know what I mean? So I've always kept that in the back of my mind, like, pay your bill, even if it's the minimum, and don't co-sign, because co-signing is another way, I guess, of really people trying to take advantage of your credit. Really, right, yeah. Eric? When you co-sign for someone, your credit's strong enough to kind of like vouch for that person and their purchase. I didn't co-sign for, my daughter. I'm not gonna co-sign for you. I give you the cash for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I probably could have.
Part of your credit profile.
Yeah. Well, I had a situation where I'm not. I forgot. Never mind.
Just leave it out there, man.
I can't even get into stuff like that. We had a conversation, audience, that we can't say stuff that's too colorful. So I don't want to be too colorful right now. I'll stop right now.
Hey, man, I got to go back and say, congrats to Eric's Credit Solution and all that. But we are gonna have to talk about this advertising, buddy.
I'm a part of the company, man. What are you talking about?
Hey, man, right, for that free shout out, man,
Hey, what do you do? What do you do for the people, Eric?
So to piggyback off of Doug, I appreciate the shout out, man. Is I recently started a credit repair business, with the focus on education, because there's a lot of credit repair business out there that are just looking to, scam people out of money and do illegal things. I'm looking more to obviously repair people's credit, get them on the right track.
And scam them. I got you.
I'm not scamming nobody.
I was playing.
I'm not scamming nobody. But because my thing is, without education, and in the brief time that I've, started educating myself and taking classes and doing a bunch of research and launching a business, like, I've learned so much. And there's free access to a lot of people. But once again, I'll go back to, you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know what to look for, you don't know what to research. And that's kind of where I'm trying to find my niche. So I do a lot of free videos on my Facebook page, Eric's Credit Solutions, also on the internet. You can check out the webpage. but it's more or less about empowerment, letting people know that, you know, if there's inaccuracies, unverified or outdated information on your credit report, that can be impacting your score. And so what that leads to is you're paying higher interest rates for credit, for loans, car loans, mortgages, insurance, and you could be actually denied for a lot of things if your credit is bad.
Employment.
Yeah, employment. Employers go check, because that kind of speaks to who you are as a person. If you can't manage your credit, a lot of employers may look at, you know, you can't manage responsibility or manage your role. So I just want to be a resource to help people get their credit scores together, not necessarily the score, because my focus is the profile. Like, what does your credit profile look like? I never promised like, hey, I'll get you to a 700, or hey, I can boost your score 100 points. Any credit company that is promising you that, I turn the other way, because it's all about building the profile. I can't necessarily say, hey, if we build the profile that you're going to have X. But what I can say is that if we get the negatives and we start putting positives, your score will go up. Most recently, I had a client whose score went up, across all 3 bureaus, 288 points. And I was, you know, just challenging some of the information that was on the credit report. I believe it's 80% of all Americans have inaccuracies on their reports. It could be something simple as, you know what I'm saying, a misspelled name, a wrong address, or an account that's tied to your report that's not even yours. So I advise everybody at least once a year or once a quarter to pull your credit report, get a credit monitoring service so that you can make sure that you're checking in on your credit, you know, make sure that no one's accessing your credit, excuse me, without your authorization. Identity theft is huge, you know, with the internet, when you use credit cards and stuff like that. I can't tell you how many times somebody's hit my debit card.
Man,
you know
me too, man.
I have alerts set up, and so I'll get an alert. Hey, Mr. Allman, are you trying to buy an iPhone in New Jersey? Well, no, I'm not trying to buy an iPhone in New Jersey. So there's value
to the cleaners in New York, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. So there's value in having credit monitoring. There's value in, you know, hiring somebody to look at your credit. Once again, these are things that you can do for free, but if you don't know what you don't know where to start. So I try to educate my clients, and I try to educate the community in general, whether you use my services or not. I want to empower people to gain control over their credit, because credit is a powerful thing. And I didn't know that. Like, I had terrible credit, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. And even as I got good credit, I just thought like, hey, I got over a 700 credit score. Like, that's it. Like, that's the data of what I'm trying to do. But you can leverage credit in so many different ways. And we'll talk more about that as we expand our podcast and continue to put out content. But once again, check me out on Facebook or check out my website, and we can go from there.
Yeah, that
sounds good, man.
Credit protection is very vital. Like I remember I tried to apply for a Macy's credit card, because they, you know, you apply for the card, you get a discount. I was never going to use the card. I just wanted the discount at the time, but I was denied, and I had a 700 credit score. I'm like, why am I getting denied? Well, it finds out, she told me that I already had a card, a Macy's card.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm like, lady, if I had a card, why would I be applying for one? So I had to, you know, call the number she provided. I called, and come to find out, it was a Macy's card in my name, and it was a Costco card in my name. One was in like Wisconsin. I'm like, man, I've never even been.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I froze my credit, which is free. I froze it. So I recently applied for a car loan, like last week. And she tried to run my credit over the phone. She's like, do you have a freeze on your credit? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Lets me know it's working. As soon as she ran it, I got an alert on my phone, like somebody's trying to access your credit.
Yeah.
Right.
You getting that new Hellcat? What you trying to get?
Yeah, what you talking about, man?
Cadillac XT5.
What's that? The truck?
Is that SUV or the?
It's like a crossover type of car.
Yeah, I got you.
What is it again?
Cadillac XT5.
No. Is it EV? EV?
So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, some of us are doing extremely well without this podcast.
I said I was looking.
One thing when I was doing, when you get in your credit pool, and Eric, I'm sure you can vouch for this as well. Make sure when they pull it, if they don't have to pull it, don't let them pull it. But if they need to pull it, you got 30 days that you want to get all that done, because as long as the same industry is pulling your credit, you're not going to take a ding for it. But if you start getting your credit pulled by retail, housing, and by car industry that you're in now, that's when you'll start seeing a ding on your credit.
Yeah.
So, but you're good now. When they pull it now, you're cool. You got 30 days to get it pulled, and Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I used to do credit solutions myself. You got 30 days to pull in that industry, and you won't see any ding. You know what I mean? So everybody that pulls your credit, they'll see that same score.
And that's
after that 30.
That's what I was worried about. So if a car industry pulls from this dealership and then somebody else pulls it, it's not going to keep dinging it every time.
Not that from my experience, no. As long as it's in the same industry, car industry, because they know they know you're in the market for a car. Now, if you change markets and go, to the housing industry, or you try to apply for a high interest credit card, then you may get dinged, because then you're outside of a different market. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to do everything in a short time frame. I would shorten it to like 2 weeks.
Right.
But here's the thing as well.
I need some power. I gotta power up.
The thing is, so say, because I recently had a client that had 45 inquiries, because she was applying for a car, but she was applying for a car with less than stellar credit, and so she got denied for all of those inquiries.
45 times.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the credit, once again, I'll use the word less than stellar. It was less than stellar. And at that score, you shouldn't be applying for credit, because you're going to get denied.
Yeah, you already know.
As a consumer, you have to understand, before you go out to make big purchases, and when we classify big purchases, we're typically talking about cars and houses. Like, you have to know what's on your credit report, and you have to be in tune with, what score do I need to get, approved for, a mortgage or a car loan? Because, the dealership, they want to sell the car. So the dealership is going to shop your information to 100 different lenders until they get you approved, because their end goal is to not protect your credit, but it's to get that car sold.
Yeah, get that business.
Yeah, get that business. But, if you've recently gone out and you've applied for a car and you were denied, or even if you got approved and you have, in excess of 30, 40 inquiries, there are things that we can do in the business to remedy to remedy that situation. So once again, reach out, Eric's Credit Solutions.
And if you go in, what I've noticed, if you go into a business and you tell them, hey, I've already got my finances, then they won't pull your credit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I already got a loan, or I already got my I've already solidified who I'm going to get my loan through, then they won't pull it. You know what I mean? But like Eric said, people who have less than stellar credit, there's different companies out here that will loan to those type of buyers. And it's normally high interest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When I first got the car that I have now, my credit wasn't tight, and I was double digits in interest. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
which doesn't make sense, but that's how they make money. They make money off of people who have taken, haven't really paid a lot of attention to the credit.
Like he said, man, if you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, I recently did a video on that exact same thing, and that video is based on my own personal experience. I know y'all remember when I had the Mustang. It was the first car that I actually financed. I had gotten a promotion at work, thought I had a little bit of money. So I went over to, the Ford dealer, like, yo, I want a new car. So went in there, I think I had like a 580. This was many, many moons ago. And I was like, it was like, oh yeah, we can get you a car. I'm like, sweet. So I think it was a used Mustang at that time, but it was like $17,000. And my payment was like close to like $500. And so I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm like, I'm making a little bit of money now. I'm good. Like that payment ain't nothing. But I was paying like 17 or 18% interest, like something insane.
Wow.
So I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he actually got financed through a credit union. It was a credit union down there in Dayton. I won't mention the name because they ain't bought a sponsorship yet.
Man,
but
thank you.
He was like, he was like, yeah, Blasts are our sponsor.
Man, I guess I've turned into the resident income guy. So.
Yeah, he's checking out, making sure. So I went to a local credit union down in Dayton, because one of my coworkers was like, man, I got approved and I'm only paying like 4%. I was like, what? And at this time I had my car maybe 7 or 8 months. So my credit score I hadn't checked it, but if you're making payments on time, like things like installment loans boost your credit significantly. So I went to the credit union and I refied my car because there was no prepayment penalty on the original loan I believe I was with Capital One or something like that. And Capital One sent me like a check and saying, hey, you're approved up to X amount of money. Insane credit rate, interest rate. So I got refinanced, and with the credit score that I had then, which I believe was like a 675 or something like that, like through the credit union, I was able to get 2.75%. So that dropped my payment from $500 a month down to like $350 a month. So, I'm saving, close to $2,000 a year just in interest payments by refining, but that's all based on me having better credit when I went to refi versus when I initially got the car. So it actually costs a lot to have bad credit. And most people who have bad credit and they try to buy big ticket items like cars and houses, you really can't afford to get financed at the credit ratings that you have, because you're going to pay, upwards of 50% of the entire loan value. And if you get a mortgage with bad credit, you could actually pay a higher interest rate in total than what the house costs. You know what I'm saying? Like if you do the mathematics, there's a lot of websites out there that you can just go in and plug in numbers based upon your credit and what the expected interest rate is supposed to be. And they'll literally show you like you are paying almost double for either a car or a house than what somebody with good credit would pay for it.
Yeah. And that's ass backwards, man. I mean, the people with the bad credit should be getting, lower rate because obviously they need it. Yeah. They need it. But that's just not how the banks get money. The banks get money off of those high interest loans, high risk people. And they justify it that way. They say, well, we're going to give you this high interest rate because you're high risk. You haven't shown any good credit history. So that's their justification. But, I tell my students, because I do financial literacy as well. I tell my students, this is how the banks stay in business. I mean, this is how that's why they're the bank,
So here's the thing is what they're trying to do. If you have bad credit, they're basically trying to get all of their money up front because they know there's a high probability that you're going to default on that loan. So they're charging you, insane interest rates. The thing is they get the car back, they auction the car off. So they're going to get their money. Like they're not just going to lend money and without trying to make sure that they have all their bases covered. So going in, like I said, man, a lot of people don't check their credit score. They're like, oh, I just got a lump sum of money. I got a down payment. I got a tax refund, or I got a stimulus check. And they just run out like, oh, let me get a brand new car. And they just think because they can quote unquote afford the payment that it makes sense to get a car. And it's like, nah, it doesn't make sense. If you just wait for 6 months, we build you a better credit profile, you're going to save more money in the long term. Like nobody wants to pay $500. Why would you pay $500 a month for a car if you could be paying $350? Like that's just common sense.
I mean, unless it's a Benz.
What happened when I was paying that double-digit interest rate? I refinanced with a credit union, and it went from double digit to like 2.5.
You went to the one that I told you?
You save a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yep. We won't give that name.
Yeah, we won't give y'all a name, but we'll come past y'all location next week after this video goes viral.
Yeah, we need to get our social media and contact info popping, man, because if we do what we're trying to do, everybody gonna be trying to holler at us. So.
Save me a lot of bread, man.
But I don't know if y'all. I think this has been good, man. Like,
yeah, I think it's a good wrap point, man.
Been really, really good, man. Once again, it's something that we hope that we can deliver to people that follow us weekly. The goal is to review good or bad brew. I mean, that's our thing. Is like, we want people to be educated about their beer purchases as well as their finances. So we hope to bring in experts weekly.
Have some laughs, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, have some laughs, man. We not financial experts. I think we on the level of beer experts though, but our goal is to reach out to people in the industry.
Yeah, we might be beer experts.
I'm a beer expert, man.
So, we might be some beer experts.
Yeah, I'm claiming it. But we hope to bring in guests that can educate our viewers on just financial literacy. So whether it's life insurance, real estate, investing, stocks, financial planning, IRAs, we want to educate the community. That's our goal, is to provide knowledge that we've been fortunate enough to be exposed to, albeit later in life. Hoping that we can change lives and just kind of get people focused on the right things. Because like I said, I'll keep going back to it. What you don't know, is what you don't know. So you might not know the questions to ask. You might not know, who to reach out to and what the proper resources are. But we hope this podcast can be a gateway to at least starting the conversation. So I'll just put it out there. If there's anybody that's watching this or listening that feels like, they can add value to our podcast, feel free to hit us up on Instagram, Hunter Spoke Media Group. Feel free. I run the account, so feel free to send me a DM and, we can link and get something cracking.
Hey, man, everybody raise the glass, man. Let's celebrate our maiden voyage.
My glass is empty.
Okay. My glass. I'm over here smacked in the morning, man. Look at that.
Hey, congrats, fellas, man. Episode 1.
Hey, Hunter Spoke.
Yeah, we'll holler at y'all later. Hops and stocks, baby.
Hey, hit like if you do we do that? Hit like.
When we upload this to YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We got to trick the algorithms. You know what I'm saying? Once again, this is literally, you know what I'm saying, a fresh idea that we're trying to put in motion. So we got to get all the social media. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna get it together, man.
But we'll get it together. I'm gonna hit stop recording. We can keep chopping it up after. Appreciate
Hops and stocks. Appreciate
y'all for listening, and we'll holler at y'all.
Peace.